Good afternoon, students. This is the beginning of week 2 for EDU 520. I hope you all had a good week and experienced success in your first few assignments. I loved getting to know all of you through your entries, and we have quite a diverse class. We pretty much cover all content areas, a lot of geographical areas of California, and many different experiences. So this is going to be a really interesting cohort, and I'm glad that you're all having a chance to get to know one another as we begin this journey. I did post yesterday morning on Saturday an email about the in-text citations as well as the reference page or the references at the bottom of your discussion board entries. Very few of you actually have completed this correctly. In my email, I referenced the student who did both of those, actually the in-text citation and the reference, correctly on her paper. So take a look at that, and if you need to use that as a guide. I hope by now you have downloaded the page. It's actually 6 pages from the Concordia APA format. So you can use that to get you started, and that will give you the correct information that you need for those discussion board entries. So please be sure that you are following those correctly. Most of you that I've started reading some of your entries about Sir Kenneth Robinson, found him interesting. He's a really interesting guy, and his videos are always engaging. So many of you responded with that, as well as another source that you located outside for yourself. Just a reminder that when you are asked to locate other sources, as you will be asked this week in your assignment in one of your discussion boards, be sure that you're choosing scholarly articles that come from scholarly sources. Google does have a link called Google Scholar. You can also access many of the links to the library resources. So just so that you're clear about that, these are not articles that you're going to find in People magazine. Yes, I did have somebody try and submit one of those once. So just make sure that you're using sources that are published within the educational realm by people that are in education or that have conducted studies and analysis of schools and school systems and programs and that sort of thing. Okay, and a reminder that your discussion board entries must be up by Thursday night. Technically, if they're not up by Thursday night, I'm not supposed to score them. I try to be a little lenient about that because I'm not always able by Friday morning or Friday afternoon to score those, but don't put them off, because if you're trying to submit everything by Sunday night, it just gets difficult, and you all have other jobs that need your attention by Monday morning. So please try and keep on top of those. I think most of you have responded to at least 2 other people in your cohort on discussion boards. So make sure that if you have not done that, that needs to be done by tonight. Respond to 2 others for each discussion board question. Okay, so also just a reminder, check your Eagles email and make sure that you're seeing all of the emails that I send out. Sometimes I mentioned before, I put in announcements in the middle of the week if I'm noticing that there's something that needs to have your attention drawn to it. Let's see. So for this week, you have one discussion board entry this week, and this will come from chapters 3 and 4 of your textbook. So there's a lot in these 2 chapters about the history of education and some of the philosophies that have been prevalent in the educational development in the United States particularly. So what I would do this week is I would start by reading those chapters. And just as I scanned through chapter 3, you're going to choose one of these ideas to focus on. So some of the ideas in chapter 3 are going to be the kindergarten movement, moral and intellectual development, vocational training, and education. Dewey, a lot of you have heard of him, may not know about his philosophies. Kilpatrick and the curriculum enrichment. Tyler, his book used to be used in this program. He's pretty interesting. Chapter 4 talks about behaviorism. Marzano, he's very current. You may have heard of him or read some of his work. Cognitive psychology is in there. Montessori, the effects of poverty. Piaget, Bloom, Vygotsky, and the multiple intelligences. So there's all sorts of things in there that you have to choose from. I will be putting an additional resource on Blackboard this week for you to access articles from that might be helpful to you. As you are reading that and choosing one of those, you're going to present a brief literature analysis. Not so much a summary, but an analysis of what the writer is saying. And then you're going to share with your readers any takeaways or classroom implications that you see that you gleaned from this reading. Again, you must have an in-text citation. That in-text citation is going to be, you should have two in this discussion board entry. One would be around your topic that you chose from the textbook. So your in-text citation is going to be your textbook and whatever article you chose. And then at the bottom of your entry, you don't have to put reference. It does not look like a reference page, but you are going to put the reference entry that would go on a reference page for both the textbook and for your article. So be sure and go back and use those resources that I've talked about. I'm going to keep drilling that until I see it happening in your work. Okay, and then your actual assignment for this week is really not too strenuous, but you might want to complete this before you do your writing, because you are being provided with a graphic organizer. If I remember correctly, it's like a 2-column note taker. And you're going to use the ideas that are in your reading, and you're going to take notes about each of those ideas. So that will help you to become more familiar with the historical and psychological foundations of curriculum. So one discussion board entry for this week. Those will be due on Thursday night, and 2 responses to your peers by Sunday, and then one short one piece with your graphic organizer. That will be your non-discussion board activity. You're going to want to click on that. I think it's up as a Google Doc. You're going to want to click on it, and the directions that we would like you to use is to download it as a Word doc. If you don't know how to do that, go up to File on the Google Doc that you click on. Go up to File on the top left, and you'll see the word Download. Hover over Download, and it'll give you some choices of how you want to download that. I think the first choice is a Word doc, so click on that. It will download usually on the bottom left of your computer screen, and then save that document. That's going to be your working document. And then you can simply upload that into the Submit Assignments. And it's pretty easy. If you're having any questions about it, give me a call and let me know, and I'll walk you through that process. A lot of you have expressed concern and anxiety about the technological portions of the assignments. Don't be. I've had to learn all of this too. So I've walked in your shoes. I know what it feels like, and it's not difficult. We'll walk through it together, and it'll be fine. I'm sure that you'll learn to help each other as you do this. Concordia prefers most of the documents to be done in Word because as you work through the courses, and especially when you get to the capstone course, the templates that you use are all in Word. And if you've done everything in Google, it doesn't always fit into the templates correctly. You'll see that when we get to our Understanding by Design lesson design that we do. It doesn't fit into Word very neatly, or into Google very neatly. So if you're not familiar with Word, get familiar with it. It's pretty easy to use, and you can move back and forth. I know at work I use my documents both in Word and in Google. So if you need help moving back and forth between that, I've learned that. So I will share that with you. All right. So any other questions? As always, call me, text me, email me, and I hope that you all have a really great week. And I'm looking forward to reading your new learning.